Am I the asshole for revealing to my dad's wife the real reason why me and him were never close? My dad practically gave me up to his sister from the moment I, 27 male, was born. My mom died when she was giving birth to me, and my aunt told me he never recovered from that because he blamed me for her dying. It hurt a lot as a kid that at family events he would ignore my existence. When I was a little older, he got more vocal about me killing her, and he can't stand to look at my face. You can imagine the amount of therapy that put me in. I used to go to church crying because I was scared about going to hell for doing that to my mom. That's how much his words effed me up. But the shitty part was that I never stopped trying to be accepted by him. After my high school graduation, he told me to never bother him again since he legally has no obligation to me anymore, since he was sending my aunt money to take care of me. Around that time is when I finally started accepting that reality, so from there, we moved on with our lives. My aunt doesn't talk to me about him. Sometimes my grandparents do, and that's how I found out he got married. They were mad he didn't invite me to their wedding, but to me it didn't matter because we're not close. But it was his wife who wanted to meet me. It's the first time ever that he wants to make contact, and it was to pretty much say she wants me in their life. She doesn't know the real reason about why we're estranged. He asked me to please not say anything, and maybe this could be a way to reconcile after all. But he was only doing it for her. That much was clear when we talked. I never said I would be. He still insisted on us meeting at their place because she really wanted to meet me. All she thinks is we were estranged for not getting along in my teenage years, going to college and losing touch because of life stuff. It pissed me off that he played it off as just us not talking for petty reasons. Meanwhile, the actual reason damaged me for years. I told her the truth. Everything he said to me, that he was never a parent to me, that was all my aunt. It was definitely a shock from her. The outcome was a disaster. Everyone has heard about this now. My grandma's in particular told me she understands my anger, but this was his chance of finding someone since losing my mom, and now it's been put in jeopardy. My dad is devastated. They think it was going too far to ruin his marriage that way when he was willing to include me in their lives, which could have been a start of our relationship. And they say not only did I ruin that, but also possibly wrecked his marriage. She just doesn't agree at all with what he did, and it could have been avoided if I didn't say anything. For me, it was hard not to tell the truth after the lies made it seem like it was nothing serious. I couldn't ignore what happened after what it did. I don't know if it was the right call since it put their whole marriage at risk after all. Are you kidding me? He put your life at risk. He put your entire mental health at risk. He didn't give a shit about you. Why are you going to give a shit about him? Like, that's so messed up. He ruined your, entire life pretty much. I mean, he ruined your mental health and acted like you didn't deserve to be here because your mom happened to pass away, which is obviously tragic and so sad and such a terrible, story, but in no way, shape, or form is that your fault. Like, what in the world? It's not like you were freaking Bella Swan's child, vampire child, like sucking the blood out of her and literally taking her life while she was pregnant. Like, you weren't a freaking vampire child. So I don't understand. I understand him being upset, but and obviously, yeah, your wife dies in childbirth. Like, that's freaking sad. That's terrible. But that means that you have to be an awful person and completely disown your child. I feel like, ugh, bleh. That's just terrible. And yeah, she deserved to know what kind of person he was because he clearly knew that was wrong. Because when you hide something, that is literally admitting guilt. Like, you are saying you don't want this person to know. And why is that exactly? Because you know that any normal person that has feelings or empathy for other people or anything in the world would not be okay with that. And it's not going to go down well. So someone said, dude, not the asshole. Your dad is a grade A double cheese asshole from hell with a special topping of asshole served with asshole sauce. He deserves every bit of what happened to his second marriage because he presented himself as a different person than he is. I'm sorry you had to go through this. I wish you strength and may you find more people who love you unconditionally. OP said, thank you. And don't worry, my aunt has been the best parent for me and she always tried to shield me from his shit as much as possible. I don't know if I would have made it without her supporting me. No, genuinely. And he did not, like other people being like, the little birds tweeting. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but they're so cute. Honestly, birds tweeting is I love the sound of birds tweeting. Like, it makes me feel like Snow White, like a little princess in a cottage. Anyways, you should never have a relationship with this guy. He's a freaking P-O-double-S. I don't know what the second S stands for, but shitty shit. Piece of shitty shit. No matter how busy life can get you, don't forget to invite your son to your wedding. This woman should have insisted on meeting you before she got married to your dad. Estranged children are always red flags. Yeah, unfortunately, that is true, but hey. You never know what kind of lies and BS he was feeding her. Okay, there's a final update 11 days later. Words can't express how much it meant to me getting so much love for my last post. Everyone who supported me, not just my actions, but also acknowledged the hurt. To all the sweet internet moms who commented and DM'd me, y'all know how to make someone feel loved, even by total strangers, lol. Since so many people wanted an update, here it is. It's a little heavy, and for a couple of days, I needed some time to process it and do some crying. They're splitting up. Heard it first from my grandma and then from his wife, or I guess ex. She was legit crying on the phone when she called me to tell me sorry for putting me in that position. Her and my dad had a longer conversation where he told her everything else he did, so she made that decision. She can't stay with someone like him. And she wanted me to know how disgusted she is. Also to tell me thanks, which is something I really needed to hear. My dad is who he is, yeah, but regardless, two people splitting their marriage because of what you said is a hard thing to not feel guilty about. This lady is heartbroken going through divorce just a few months after getting married, and she wanted to make the time to reassure someone else that they made the right choice. Unexpectedly, though, my dad wanted us to talk yesterday, too. My girlfriend, again, didn't want me to. Trust me, I get her point. She's the one who didn't want me having dinner with them in the first place. For one thing, we didn't know what he wanted to talk about and what that would do to my mental health. It was probably a bad risk to take, but yeah, I met with him. And yeah, I should listen to my girlfriend more when it comes to this stuff. First time in my life, I think we had a conversation about my mom. How much he loved her, them being happy and excited about having a family. But then she died, and he told me even if it's wrong, he can't ever not blame me. Because simply, if I hadn't been born, she would still be here. He's only sorry for not completely staying away from me and saying horrible things growing up. While he wasn't saying this to be malicious, since he seems sincere, it was still an ouch for me. In the end, we decided having a relationship with each other was never going to happen and said goodbye. He at least apologized for trying to put me in that position. First good thing he ever did was tell me what happened with his wife wasn't my fault. Then I just went home and cried. Had my day to process, a short therapy session, and support from both my aunt and my girlfriend to get me through. The rest of my family is leaving me alone, at least, so glad that in the end it was resolved. Not a total happy ending, I know, but in the end, it's better this way. Ugh. I mean, like, I'm no one to judge how someone grieves a terrible situation like that I can't even comprehend because I've never been through anything even similar to that kind of situation. But, like, you would think if you're going to have a child, like, there's so many things I feel like you have to come to terms with. Like, of course, you're not going to be like, oh, yeah, my wife might die from childbirth. But, like, you also have to, like, I don't know. It's like, did you really want a child? Or did you just want, like, because I feel like I feel like you should only have a kid if you really want a kid. Like, not because you're excited to have a family with your partner, not because, like, with your partner you're having a kid, but, like, you have to think about the fact that, like, you could possibly, like, there's so many things to think about, I feel like, because having a kid is such a large responsibility. So it's like you really have to think about all the scenarios, all the avenues that could possibly happen, like you possibly being a single father. If you were a single father, would you, like, if that were before your wife got pregnant, if that were, like, that was what's going to happen, and that was the situation that you were going to end up being in, if you knew that, would you still want to have a kid? Like, do you want to have a kid because you want to have a kid and you want to raise the kid? Or is it just, like, the fantasy of having a kid with like, your wife that you love? Like, I don't know. I just feel like people take having a kid sometimes so lightly, and it's like, yes, anything can happen. Like, yeah, people can die in childbirth, and then, like, are you ready? Not saying that you should always be, like, pessimistic and thinking about, oh, well, this could happen, because that's literally what's always going on in my mind, and maybe that's why I feel this way, because it's something that, like, I would always I'm always thinking about every possible scenario that could happen, and, like, every thing that you know, like I'm always thinking of the worst case scenarios. I'm like, okay, well, if we just do this and this happens, and sometimes I do feel like that works out in my favor, because it's like, on a smaller scale, I'm thinking about like, oh, if I wanted to get a dog, and like then I'm thinking about all the things that like could possibly go wrong with getting a dog at this point in my life. Like, do I really want a dog? Because the dog, you know, because of all of the other things that are going to go into getting a dog, or do I want a dog because the dog is cute and cuddly? Like, you can't think about it like that, you know? Like, you can't think about, oh, I want a dog because they're so cute and cuddly and like they're going to give me so much support. No, you should want a dog and also know that like all the responsibility that comes with it isn't going to be like the easiest situation. Like, there's a lot that goes into owning a dog and raising a dog from when they're a puppy, or even adopting a dog that had a previous family and maybe has like trauma or whatever. There's so many things that you have to think about, and I feel like that could also be applied to having a kid, but on a much larger scale, because you're having a child and you're bringing another human being into this world. I don't know. I feel like I could be like, you know, that's very much like hindsight is 2020, like if you were to look back at it. So obviously no one's perfect and no one's going to make the perfect decisions, but that's why it's just so important to like think so hard about big life decisions like that. That's why I'm like never ever ever in a rush to do anything in my life. Like, I'm never in a rush because I just never want to rush things, and I want to fully like process what is going to come about with these different life changes and these different things that I'm going to eventually do in my life, and be able to like fully process that so that I know what I'm getting myself into. And like, and not just fantasizing and being like, oh yes, like getting married is so fun, and like you have a party and it's so fun. Like, yeah, getting married is fun, I'm sure, but there's also a lot of other stuff that comes with getting married, and you also have to make sure you're picking the right person to get married to, and like other things come along with that, and like their family comes along with it, and so many other things come along with it. And maybe I'm being a Debbie Downer. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.